So hi, this is Cheryl again, and this is part two of my journey down to Stettin, Trelawny, that is near to Albertown. So where I stopped was the pastor was now telling that the roof of the church needed fixing, and the Lord was saying to me that the churches will have to come in and help this man. When he was there and after he had finished the message, Divine Hour had finished, and the Lord said to me, Cheryl, quickly turn to this woman and ask her, how do you get permission? You must address this house before they leave. And when I said to her, how do I get permission to say something to the church? She said, the lady that was singing this morning, go to her. And the Lord said, go quickly now, Cheryl. And I went to her. When I went there, she was praying, and I said, Miss, I'm so sorry for interrupting your prayer, but how would I get to say something to the church? She looked up and she actually makes sign language to the man up on the rostrum, and he beckoned to me and says, come. And when I went up there, I said, I thank you for the privilege for being able to say something to the church this morning. And the Lord said, Cheryl, tell him your full name. And I said, my name is Cheryl Hilton, and I am from Old Harbour, and I worship at the Bellas Gate Adventist Church. And I am the servant of the true and living God. I said to you, this may sound surreal to you as who I am, but I am who I am. And I said, the Lord has sent me down here this morning, and I said, I told them of how he started through these gentlemen that used to sell yam, and what he told me that every time when the men came back, the numbers would increase. And then I told them of that the Lord said that he will send me down. I said to them, I don't even know where I am. I felt the church actually vibrated. I was there, and the Lord said, the Lord has sent me to the 14 parishes to deliver a CD. And I said, I'll tell you of this one instance when I went to Falmouth. And I said of this young man when I went to him to look for the music seller. And I said to him, sir, where could I find the music seller? He said she wasn't there. When he asked what I wanted, the Lord said, tell him. And I said, I've been sent on a journey, and the Lord has asked me to go to the 14 parishes, and I must go to every major town and leave this CD called The Moment of Truth, Part 1 and Part 2, to to 2 music sellers and at an Adventist church, which he will tell me. He said, all right then, miss, so sell me one now. I said, sir, this is not for sale. He said, all right then, so give me one now. I said, sir, I have to leave it with a music seller. The man got up from fixing his goods and stand up in front of me, stood firm, and he said, miss, you know, read the Bible. He said, you never realize that when Jesus come, he never come for Christian as sinners in come for. He said, miss, give me one CD. And when he stretched forth his hand, the Lord said to me, Cheryl, give this man the CD, because the CD that you carry, it is his. And I said, sir, the Lord said, this CD that I have here is yours, and I'm to give it to you. The man started to cry. I said, Lord, what have I said to him? And the man started to cry and said, you come a while ago, and he's like, me know some forget the CD, and I don't know what to tell you. And then he said, just 2 days ago, my niece came to me, and she was saying to me that the Lord gave her a message that he said that I must now make my way into the Adventist church. And he said, you come a while ago, and I don't know what to say, but I know some forget it. And the Lord said, tell him of this. And I said, sir, to be able to walk like the Lord, walk like this for the Lord, I have proven the Lord for myself. The Lord said to me, Cheryl, to walk for me, you must know me for yourself. And I said one day when I was supposed to leave and go and do my selling as well, I said to him that the Lord said, Cheryl, you will leave this house, you will not pay any fare, go nor come in, and you will make money. I said of the last drive that brought me home, when the man bring me home, the man said, me know the Lord give me a duty and say me do it here and me done. He said, miss, which church you go to? And I said, sir, I'm an Adventist. He said, well, I'm not an Adventist, but I know when God has given me a duty. And he left me there. I was in awe. When I said that, the man started to wail in front of me. He was a grown man. He was crying. I said, Lord, what have I said? The man said to me, it is surprising that you say that, because the same thing happened to me this morning. I had no money, and I prayed and said, Lord, may I ask if you carry me come in a town so I could have make a money. And he said, this is how I'm here, and if I had not done that, I would not have met you this morning. Anyways, I asked him of direction to go to Montego Bay. He showed me. When I walked away, he said, Cheryl, I know what I'm going to do. He said, I'm going to carry home the CD, I'm going to listen to it. And when the lady come tomorrow, I'm going to give her, make a copy for me. I'm going to give me niece and beg her bring it down to the Adventist church, because you're not able to go to all of them. The man that I just ministered to was now ministering to me, was now a missionary for Christ, instantaneously. And I said to the church, and when I said it to the church, I felt the church vibrate. I felt the church move. And I said to them that should not be surprising, but the Lord is calling for all of us to come together. We must come together. He said, Lord said to me, shall return to the elder, Elder Eccleston. And I said, Elder, sir, the Lord said to tell you that your prayers, your petition has come up to heaven. He has heard of your prayer, and He's going to send aid to this church. When I said that I heard the church, it was the biggest amen I've ever heard. When I went down, the Lord said to me, Cheryl, make your way quickly now because you are now on time, and you must move on time. And we went to the bus, and we went down, and we went to Warsop SDA, long stairs. They were having communion. And when I went there, and I saw a man, I said, could you leave this with an elder, a male elder in your church for me? He says, hold on, miss. An elder came out, and all of a sudden when the man came out, I got nervous. And I said, Lord, I've been everywhere. Why do I feel this way? And when I went, I said, sir, my name is Cheryl, and I am a servant of the Lord. And the Father said, I heard when the Lord spoke, and he said, Cheryl, what did you say just now? Fix that. And I said, sorry. I said, sir, let me fix that. I said, sir, my name is Cheryl, and I am the servant of the true and living God. And He has sent me here, and I delivered the CD. When I left Warsop and was going down, God Himself spoke this time. And when God speaks, it is different. When God speaks, your whole body trembles. He said to me, Cheryl, He says, why have you spoken to that man in doubt? Do you not know who you are? Why did you call yourself a servant? He says, when you call yourself a servant of the Lord, then you put yourself with everybody else. He says, you are my servant. You are the servant of the Lord. He said to me, Cheryl, I do not want to hear this come from your mouth again. He said to me, Cheryl, this is the last time. When he said that, my whole body was in fear. I found myself saying, I said, Father, I said, who can understand the secret errors? Cleanse me every day from my secret faults and prevent me from presumptuous sins, that they may not have dominion over me, that I can stand before you, that I can be blameless before you, and I am able to stand. Then I found myself praying, and I said, Father, of this day I will speak without doubt, because I am who I am. And I said to the Father that, Lord, I am asking you to give me the strength that I may speak positively and speak without doubt when I speak for my Father. It felt like He let me go. And I was there and I prayed. And when we went down to Troy, when I came out of the bus, the Lord Jesus Christ started to speak again. And He said to me, Cheryl, see this woman in front of you, go to her. I went to her, and when she was there, I told her, I introduced myself. I said, my name is Cheryl. I am the servant of the true and living God. And the Lord has sent me here with this CD. And as I told her what she said, hold on, miss, 1 second, I'm going to finish talking to the lady here. I was standing there waiting on her, and the gentleman was standing afar off with my child, and I saw when he came over to me, when somebody had kicked them foot, and he did it so neat, and he spoke to me through his teeth. Nobody heard what he said to me. He said to me, Cheryl, he said, why you don't bring that CD and give to the man who's standing over there? Him look like a pastor, And him kicking foot and go right home, and he said, I feel like if you go to him. And the Lord said to me, Cheryl, did you hear that? And I quickly eased myself behind the lady, kicking my foot, doing the same thing that the man did. And I went and I said, hello, sir. And he said, hi, sis. And I said, are you a pastor for this church? And he says, well, I'm a pastor, but I'm not a pastor for this church. And I said, well, sir, my name is Cheryl Hilton, and I am the servant of the true and living God. I'm from Oldaba. And the Lord has sent me here. And as I spoke to him, he says, come with me, sis. And when he was going into the church, I didn't want to go because I remembered when I was in Oldaba, the Lord said, don't go into churches, but I was afraid. And the Lord said, Cheryl, do not be afraid, go with him. And when I sat there and as the Lord spoke and I told him of what the message that the Lord had sent me here with, I told him of the man that I'd met in Falmouth and everything. And when I told him of what the Lord said about the church, the man looked up, or him look up, him take like a deep breath and him hold him forward, him put him forward upon him hand. And him shake him head. And when I spoke again, he took another breath and he looked up and looked down and he said, my God. He said, miss, he said, you're speaking my sermon. I presented that sermon here today. And the Lord said, tell him of the church and that the Adventist church is sleeping. And I said it to him and he says, he looked up again and he says, my God. And then he looked again and he says, that is how I finished my sermon today. And he says, come with me. I am not a pastor of this church. He says, I go around and visit different churches. I cannot forget his name. He was Pastor Brown. He said, I'm visiting here today, but I think you need to speak with the church here. He says, come with me. And the Lord said, Cheryl, tell him that the CD that he has must keep it. And I said, sir, the CD that you have there, the Lord asked that you keep it and that you listen and you leave it at whichever church you choose. I have another CD which I could give to them. When I went in to the room where they were sharing lunch, the first lady that the Lord had sent me to, I saw her in there. And when I went in there, her eyes, both of her eyes catch together, or I make four. And the Lord said, Cheryl, do not go in, speak in the passage. And they said, come sis. And I said, I don't want to speak over the phone. And they said, no man, come, you can stand up in the corner. I went, I gave the same testimony, and when I gave the same testimony, everybody was there, putting food together. And when I finished, everybody put on them fork, and then stand up and them say, what are that pastor just preached a while ago? And when I said the rest, they were there, and they said, but are the same sermon? By then, the lunchroom was full. And when I was there, the Lord said to me, Cheryl, now pass the CD to the elder, the female elder. And I said, elder, the female elder, I said, I will leave the CD with the church. And when she was there, she said, no, miss, give it to the leader. The same lady that the Lord had sent me to speak to first, who was having a conversation, who asked me to wait, it was the same lady again that I had gone into the room and gave the CD. When the lady stepped forward to me, she said, miss, how much is it going to cost me now? I said, what? She said, how much is it going to cost me now? I laughed to myself and I said, miss, every single thing that, and before I finished, it was an echo. Everybody in the room said the same thing. Every single thing of the Lord thy God in heaven is free. And it came off in a circle, and I handed her the CD and I told her thanks. When I was leaving, the Pastor Brown was having lunch and he said, sis, you're not staying for lunch? I said, no, sir. I cannot eat now. When I finish journey, I will eat. I said, I have my water. And I went out. We went down to Wilson's Run. SDA was on a hill. It was the smallest church I've ever seen. And it was closed. I left the CD at the door. Then we came back down. There was a funeral procession and we were trying our best to beat it. And we came back down to Spring Gardens SDA, and when I was coming on, the Lord said, Cheryl, put the child to your bosom because she wants to sleep. And I put her to my bosom, and the daughter fell asleep. So when we came to Spring Gardens, I couldn't get out of the car, but I saw a group of people saying, hey man, drop us up at the whatever Adventist church. I didn't hear the name. And when he came to the door, the Lord said, there is the man, there is the elder. I said, where are we? And the gentleman at the front said to me, Cheryl, we're here. This is Spring Gardens. And they said, can we come and listen? The Lord said to me, Cheryl, invite the man to come and sit with you. The men were there waiting for a taxi and could not get any. We were the bus. The child was sleeping. I could not come out. And the Lord said, invite him to sit beside you. It was the first I gave a message without even letting the elder say one word. I gave him message after message after message, and it was a group of them. And when he was leaving out, I said, so where are you going? He says, we're visiting Stettin today. And I said, Stettin? Is that another church? And he said, yes. And the Lord said, give him the 2 CDs. And I said, sir, could you drop this at this church for me? And I left, and we left. When we went around and we were going up, I said, Lord, okay, I'm going to rest now. He said, Cheryl, you must rest now. When I went, I said to the same gentleman that had carried me, that I was staying with, I said, when I rest, I'm going to go around to the gentleman so he can follow me over to the Adventist church. The men laughed at me. And I said, what is it? He said, that was the church that you just go a while ago. I said, what? He said, the same church that is beside the man that you were supposed to visit with him, that's the same church, Stettin. I named so. I couldn't believe that my journey was finished. In the morning when I woke up and the Lord said to me, he says, bring the testimony of how you went around the island to the gentleman that you were staying with. And I went to him and I gave it to him. Now, the man never knew of my journey. I gave him some from verbal, but this was the first time he was going to listen to the testimony. And then I said, do you see, after you listened, I said, do you see yesterday that it must have been God leading you? Because yesterday it was like you heard the testimony before and you knew what to expect. Now, what the Lord has asked in making this recording is that the Adventist Church, Thompson Town, it is Thompson Town SDA. You will find that at Roy Eccleston, Thompson Town SDA, Wire Fence, PA, in Trelawny. Make your donations. The skilled workers, make your way down. Conferences. The Lord says, the Adventist Church, wherever you are in the world, the Lord said it is time. The skilled workers, women who are able to cook, whatever donations, find the church. Roy Eccleston, Thompson Town SDA, Wire Fence, PA, Trelawny. Send your blessing and build the Lord's church. You're done. you will make this recording because all the Adventist church will have to come and assist this church. He says you're going to make a call. You're going to